Alan Newcastle sits alone watching YouTube videos on his computer when suddenly he hears an all too familiar cry for help.
There is no expectation of privacy in public.
There's no need to fear. Hezokuai is here. Hello guys, welcome back to the channel over by there. And oh my goodness, have I got a banger for you today. I just found this. This is old. He's talking about a case from 1975. I don't know when this was originally broadcast. It's old. I have no idea, but I've never seen this before. I had no idea this was even a thing. So I'm just going to let this clip play out that I found, and afterwards I'll talk about. I found the actual court case that he's talking about. So after the clip, we'll go over the court documents and see what actually happened. This is some wild and crazy sovereign citizen stuff, man. So buckle in, get your barf bags out, and get ready to go.
Welcome. On second thought, I'm William Wagner, your host. We got a great show for you tonight. With me today, here in the studio, is Charlie Sprinkle. Charlie, welcome to the show.
Glad to be here.
Charlie, do you have a driver's license?
No, sir, I haven't. I don't drive commercially.
You don't drive commercially, I see. So you don't need a driver's license?
If you're not being paid, there's no need for a driver's license.
So if I was getting paid to haul goods and services, or I was a taxi driver...
You would have to have a driver's license. That's commerce.
That's commerce. But you don't drive in commerce, so you haven't had a driver's license for how many years, Charlie?
37 years.
What happens, Charlie, when the police pull you over and they think you're speeding or you didn't signal?
Well, now they just shake their finger at me or tell me to have a nice day.
Oh, really?
Yes, sir.
Well, let's see. As a cop, I pull up, I say, may I see your driver's license, please?
I don't have one.
Why don't you have one? You're driving a car.
I don't want one, and I'm not driving. I'm traveling.
I see. Well, what if I just take you to jail?
Fine with me. But we'll be hooked to hip. We'll be hooked at the hip for the next 5 years in federal court.
In federal court. So you're going to sue me, the police officer, if I take you to jail because you don't have a driver's license?
Yes, sir.
I think the judge will rule in my favor.
I don't think so.
Oh, so that's how it goes.
That's how it goes.
And you had one of those cases, Charlie, didn't you?
I filed suit in 1975 against 16 state officials, including Governor Reagan and all of their wives.
And all of their wives?
Yes, sir. When the officer pulls his red lights on you, he's declaring an emergency. That's a felony when there is no emergency. So he's already violated his job oath of office when he turns his red lights on to stop you. And then in my case, if he interferes with my right to travel, he's violating the Constitution of the United States.
Wow.
He becomes an imposter in the office of, he becomes a imposter in his office. And therefore he's taking his wages under false pretenses, and that's fraud.
And you've taken people to court?
Yes, sir.
Did Mrs. Reagan like being served?
Yes, sir. We served her as she was backing out of her driveway in the limousine.
Did she like it when they served her?
She was having a hissy fit. As a matter of fact, the wives didn't like being charged with fraud for something their husbands had done.
So why did you name Mrs. Reagan? I mean, even Reagan didn't pull you over, and he didn't hire the CHP officer.
I wrote Mr. Reagan a letter and requesting him to protect me from the conspiracy to violate my rights.
And did he protect you?
No, he refused in writing.
Oh.
So he violated his oath of office. He became an imposter in the governor's office, and his wife was same as driving a getaway car for a bank robber. She's accessory after the fact.
Wow.
And they tried to get that dismissed in federal court 3 different times, and they failed all 3 times. And then all they could do then was make a deal.
Wow, I got to take my hat off to you, Charlie, because I don't think I've talked to anybody that's ever sued a governor and his wife and won. And did they pay you money, or what? How did that resolve?
But they couldn't get the case dismissed out of the federal court, so they sent a black limousine down to my house. Two guys got out of the back doors of the car, dressed in very dark suits and sunglasses, and came to my door. Of course, I had a rifle set over the door because I was expecting to be assassinated over this deal.
Yeah.
I was only 35 years old, and I was the only one in California at the time fighting a driver's license. So I expected to be found face down in a ditch someplace, and so I was well armed. Anyway, they came to the door, and they said, "Mr. Sprinkle, we can assure you that you will have full run of the road if you do not pursue the lawsuit any further." I said, "Fine, I'll take that under advisement, and we'll see what happens." And after another few words, they decided to get in their car and go home, or wherever they came from. So I immediately went out and got into my yellow sports car and went out onto the highway and found me a highway patrolman, and they was doing 65 at the time. It was a speed limit. And I cranked my little yellow car up to about 90 mile an hour, went by them blowing my air horns. And of course they pursued me immediately.
Yeah, I would expect that, Charlie, yeah.
And I pulled off the side of the road, and I said, well, "What can I do for you?" And he says, "What are you doing?" I said, "I was doing about 90. He said, "What's your name? You got a driver's license?" "No." "Oh. What's your name?" "My name's Charlie Sprinkle." "Well, Mr. Sprinkle, we just stopped to see if we could be of any assistance to you." I said, "Well, no, I think I can get along all right by myself." And he said, "Well, have a nice day." So I left him in a cloud of dust.
Oh, boy. They didn't say anything about the fact you admitted you were doing 90 in a 65 zone?
No.
They didn't say a word about it.
Yeah, I've been told I'd be left alone if I didn't pursue the suit.
So someone put the word out, and you let the Reagans off the suit, and you're free to go.
So I just did not pursue it. I can reinstitute it tomorrow if I want to.
All right. So this goes on for like another 20 minutes. The next part, the guy starts getting into how all of this has ruined his life and this and that. But then he tries to, I don't know if he's being sarcastic. He like flexes like, "Man, this made me lose my girlfriend, my second girlfriend, my third girlfriend." Like, I don't know if that was supposed to be sarcastic or supposed to be a flex. Like he had all these women, but then lost them over all this. I don't know. But he just goes on and on and on and on with this nonsense. But I found the actual court case that he's talking about. So let's look at what happened here. So right off the bat, we got Charles R. Sprinkle versus Ronald Reagan et al. Ugh. The proposed report and recommendation and order were mailed to the parties on October 24th, 1975. The plaintiff's objections were received on November 6th, 1975. Plaintiff couples in opposition to the proposed report and recommendation with a motion to amend complaint to charge treason for a motion for judgment by default. The sum total of the quote opposition unquote does not alter the substance of the complaint. The magistrate therefore recommends that his proposed report and recommendation be considered final and that the action be dismissed. All right, so moving forward a little bit, this report and recommendation is submitted to the Honorable David W. Williams, United States District Judge, pursuant to the provisions of 28 U.S.C. 366b2 B Section 2 and General Order 104D of the United States District Court for the Central District of California. Okay. On January 3rd, 1975, plaintiff filed this complaint in propria persona, alleging a cause of action based on 42 U.S.C. 1983 and 1985. Boy, where have we heard that before? On March 28th, 1975, motions to dismiss were taken under submission. The plaintiff seeks general and punitive damages from state employees for the violation and deprivation of rights guaranteed by the Constitution of the United States. Another one. Oh, gee, we never heard that before. This is crazy. January 3rd, 1975. I wasn't even 2 years old yet. He alleges that he was arrested while driving and told to get a driver's license and a vehicle license, which he claims are titles of nobility. What? which he claims are titles of nobility, and to pay for them with Federal Reserve notes, which are not backed by gold or silver coin, in violation of the Constitution of the United States. He so so not only is he saying that it was a deprivation of rights for them to pull him over, but that it's wrong for them to tell him that he has to pay for a license with Federal Reserve notes. Okay. He further alleges that he was threatened with a deprivation of his liberty and that it all took place under color, custom, and usage of California Vehicle Code. Once in court, defendant Soros, a municipal court judge, refused to allow plaintiff to appear with counsel of his own choice, a non-lawyer. So he did bring counsel, but it wasn't a lawyer, probably just some random soft guru at the time. The plaintiff seeks damages. The complaint is frivolous. The acts complained of were in the course of enforcement of state statutes whose constitutionality has long been established. The claim that the issuance of Federal Reserve notes violates the Constitution of the United States was recently, once again, laid to rest in this circuit. And then they give examples. United States versus Schmitz, number 75-20506, blah, blah, blah. Milan versus United States, and then the numbers, January 29th, 1974. And now in this next part, they go back to the point of him not being allowed to have a lawyer that isn't a lawyer. It is equally clear that restricting counsel to members of an integrated bar is constitutionally permissible. See Gerardo versus Luna, 5th District Court, circa 1970. States versus Stockenheimer, 1974. The magistrate finds that no claim upon which relief may be granted is stated. It does not appear that the complaint can be amended to overcome this deficiency. It's therefore recommended that the plaintiff's motion to dismiss be granted. Yes, it was dismissed because it was frivolous. And so, pursuant to 28 U.S.C. 336b, Section 2, the court has reviewed the records and pleadings and the report and recommendation of the United States magistrate and concur with and adopts its findings and conclusions. Like I said, I just wanted to share this clip because I just found it and I was amazed. Like, I know the sovereign citizen thing's been going on for a while, man, but I had no idea that one of them tried to sue Ronald Reagan because he was the governor of a state that allowed him to get pulled over. Like, what? What? All right, guys, that's enough of this nonsense. These sovereign citizens make my head spin, man. I'm going to bed. Take it easy.